Check, check. right, folks, and welcome back to another fine edition of PPR Esports. I am your host, Best Teon, coming to you live for the first time after a very, very long intermission. It is very, very good to be back, folks. I'm finally settled in my new home. Rig is set up. F1 is downloaded, and I am so excited to bring you all the action live tonight for the first time in a long time. And folks, we are going somewhere very, very new to all of us. Tonight we'll be racing at the Hanoi Street Circuit in Hanoi, Vietnam. Circuit length is 5.6 kilometers with, or 3.4 miles in freedom units. Race distance, I actually don't know how many laps constitutes 50%, so I just put an hour to cover my bases. Lap record, to be determined, folks. There has never been a Grand Prix held at this circuit yet. Unfortunately, we will have to wait until 2021 due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. But in the meantime, we'll be doing it digitally. 23 turns, 13 to the left and 10 to the right. I do believe there are going to be 2 DRS zones, one along the start-finish straight as well between turns 5 and 6, I believe. It's going to be a fantastic track, folks. Very twisty bit in Sector 3, long straights in Sectors 1 and 2. Should be plenty of overtaking for you out there today. I cannot stress how good it is to be back. I cannot stress how good it is to have all of you here with me tonight. Quick rendering of the circuit. Hopefully we will see that very soon. In the meantime, though, folks, let's go live to the track for the start of qualifying, and I, for one, cannot wait to get this underway. Back in a moment, folks. All right, folks, we are back now live from the pit lane. Let's get this show on the road. So, folks, I am unaware of the optimal tire strategy. To be perfectly honest with you, it's not something I am perfectly familiar with. Cars now going out onto the track. A couple things different about this year, most notably that the cars will be definitely a little different. The ERS system has changed, to say the least, and we will just have to see. On board now with Wiser Square, folks. So just to run you guys through everything, this is the Division 1 of PPR Esports Xbox. We have a couple top fivers in the world, to my knowledge, in the time trials. It is something they are especially proud of. I know I am very proud of them all as well. We turned down console companion just a touch so I can hear myself think. Let's see if we got anyone on a flying lap at the moment. I do believe that is Vogue out in front on his outlapper. I know he's fitted the soft compound of tire there. We will see just how he is doing. Sector 3 here being the twisty bit, folks. A very intense section of S's up against the walls there before going into a final left-hander and then onto the pit straight. Excuse the quality, folks. We're getting a little bit of a frame drop here. Just one moment. How's that, Nathan? And down the pit straight we go now with Vogue. Into the first section of turns here. It's going to be a bit of an awkward long right-hander before a left-hand. Oh, he's locked the back rear there. Watch out for the barrier. As a long run down to the second kind of awkward hairpin. DRS wide open, of course. In that number 16 Ferrari. Into the barrier. Excuse me. Into the corner we go here. Taking a nice wide trajectory through there. Now onto the second long straight here, folks. A very long right-hander. Let's see where he turns in for the bend. DRS is going to open right about here. Boom. Nice. Into the third hairpin of this track. Let's see where he brakes. Just before the 50 board there, turning in, taking that apex very smoothly. Yes, of course, folks, there are no assists allowed for these guys. No racing line, no ABS, no traction control, none of that. This is 100% up to driver skill. Ooh, he's going to lock the right front there, coming on just a little too hot to the corner there. Luckily, this is the first flyer. Chungees on a 137 there. That's the time to beat. Voj coming to the last couple of corners here, trying to find the rhythm. Nice and smooth now. Only 2 turns to go now. Taking it smoothly through there, over to the right-hand side, get that DRS open. There you go, folks, 136.3. Vietnam, definitely a new challenge for literally everyone. Unless you were somebody who had the beta test or you had an early copy, this will be one of the more difficult tracks to acquaint yourself with. This and Zandvoort, of course, new to F1. Zandvoort, though, it is a track that has been around. If you've played Assetto Corsa Competizioni, I know some of our other leagues we organize here do play that game religiously, and that's a track they'd be familiar with. But for the F1 guys, it is a new challenge. But this Hanoi Street Circuit is something new for everyone. And shout out to my man, Funky Cactus, with a 135-1. 135-1, getting pipped there by Unknown Oot. Unknown Oot 25 with a 134. So the time's already starting to come down, folks, as these drivers are going to be feeling out the circuit here. Keep an eye out for track evolution playing a factor later in the session, of course. See Williams of somebody there. And here's Saxman in the Red Bull racing car. Still on his outlap. Fitted the medium compound tie here. Maybe looking to go on an optimal strategy to start the race. No idea what tire strategy actually is for Hanoi. I can only assume it's a one-stopper based on... Oh, it could be a two-stopper. It's a very long time around here. Excuse the gamer tag there, folks. Trundling along now, though, with Saxman, who last year raced in the Toro Rosso car here in D1 and was pretty much the king of the midfield. He had the most consistent 4th, 5th, 6th place finishes. Between him and Brackish. They were definitely the most consistent pairing on the grid, I would say, at least within the top 3. Also, of course, folks, these cars all are equal performance. There is no real-life performance modifiers. I don't think any league does that, as that would be a nightmare for everyone involved, unless you were in the Mercedes. Couple new names here tonight, folks. Let's see here. We've got Unknown Oot, new addition to D1 full-time. Funky Cactus finally made the switch over from Division 4, where he was racing with me last year. B-Dunk, your defending champion. TCP Coutinho, new one there. Num1 Fin Fan. We got John, who I believe has made the move up. We got, big lockup there for Saxman. He's looking to find the apex there, taking it really wide. Chungees, of course, was not with us last year. Radicus, also a new name on the grid. And, of course, shout out to my man, Groggy Oregano. The last time I went wheel-to-wheel with him, unfortunately, I spun him around at Turn 1 at Monza. Apologies to him as well. But it's good to see him up in D1. Definitely one of the fastest guys last year. Keep an eye out for him. He's got a lot going on here. According to the top right, this lap isn't going to be valid, unfortunately, but kind of maybe more of a scouting lap for a Saxman here. And we got Reimer now on a flyer in the Ferrari there. Big lockup from him. Trying to get temperature into those tires. Let's see now. A flyer with Reimer. DRS wide open. Down the pit straight. Into turn 1. It's going to be left-hander into an immediate right-hander there, folks. Take a bit of a late apex on the exit. Let's see. Nice wide through there. He's looking for the apex. He's trying to find it. Boom. Nice one. Over the left-hand curve. Ooh, careful with the barrier there. Ooh, folks, there you go. Big spin. Of course, folks, this is a pre-season test, so there will not be any damage. We are just trying to vet all of these drivers to make sure that they are of the D1 quality. Dry conditions, too. We're not trying to throw anyone too off their game. Don't worry, though, folks. When it comes to the regular season, you will see dynamic weather. You will see a lot more mix-ups in the order. I myself have benefited from quite a few wet races. Definitely a big fan of them. But let's see here, folks. Your order at the minute, it is Unknown Oot in first with a 134.9. That is your time to beat. He's on the soft compound. Behind him, Funky Cactus 135.1. B-Dunk 135.4. TCP Coutinho with a 135.5. Number 1 FinFin 135.5 as well. Only about 100th of a second separating those two. John P6, Voj P7, Ed Torona P8, and Weiser Square P10. And Unknown Oot's going to go pull again there. 134.9. Reimer here putting in a bit of a banger. Kind of. Just trying to get to the end here now without invalidating his lap. Oof. That has cost him through the final corner, unfortunately. As you can see, this is quite the challenge for a lot of drivers. This is a very unknown territory. Myself, I've tried this track out, and unfortunately there was an issue with my Fanatec wheel. And unfortunately, I put Big Chunkus there into the wall by accident, and that was in an unranked lobby, so also apologies to him. Yeah, I got a confession for all of you at home. I am not the fastest at this game, but I do tend to think I have a good way of talking about it. Big Chunkus here on his flyer still. Trying to find the balance in the banana boat. Ooh, big lockup. He'll get away with that. Those are two wheels over that curb. Final section of corner here. Looking very planted, going for maybe a higher downforce package than most. Left-hander to the finish here. Let's see. Nice smooth line. Going for that nice inside apex out to the right-hand side. He'll go 135.6, 135.6 on the soft compound of tire there, folks. Got a couple cars in the garage there. Radicus going on a new outlet. We got Saxman on a flyer in the Red Bull. And it looks like he has backed off. Letting someone else through, it would seem. Could be Funky Cactus flying through in the Alpha. Surprisingly, I have yet to see any. Oh, there's the Alpha Tauri of B-Dunk. 135.9. Champion shot across the bow for everyone in the field. Remind them who's boss in this preseason race here. That Alpha Tauri is a very pretty car, I have to admit. A lot of white cars this year, folks. Alpha Tauri is very white. We got the Williams cars. Also very white. Interestingly enough, I don't think I see a single Haas in the field today, which is disappointing. Couple pink Mercedes there. Funky pulling off there. Coutinho going second fastest, 134.5. Coutinho looking fast here, going for it again, it would seem, unless he's on an in-lap. And that is the black Mercedes, I believe. Such a good-looking car. Most everyone into the pits now. Unknown on an outlap here. We got Radicus on an outlap as well. Making his way to the final sector in the Renault. Backing off to let someone through. Love to see it. Bit of a lock up there on the front left. Let's hope it's not too much of an issue. Now, time to beat, folks. Ooh, he's going to tap that left-hand barrier. It's going to throw him offline before he gets his momentum up before turn one here. Let's see, folks. Just before the 50 board, turning in. Hitting that inside curb nicely. Ooh, careful there not to invalidate, but he's burned a lot of his momentum here. Taking a wider line. They're trying to make up some of the time now. Into the left-hander. Using all that curb to his advantage. Left-hand side, right-hand side. Taking the shortest distance between those two apeces very nicely. Into the left-right. Ooh, big lockup and an invalidation. I got to say, folks, it's really no surprise to me that these drivers are invalidating a lot of these laps. This is completely uncharted territory. You know, if this is any other circuit that we were used to, I would bet that you would see these guys putting in bangers of laps. But in a funny way, I like that, though. That it's kind of a level playing field in some ways. It really does test to see who can find the grip the fastest in these clear conditions. Also to find the most efficient line, as it were. You know, accelerating, braking, exactly where they need to. Really does put a test on the drivers. And the physics engine in this game, I think, has been greatly improved from the previous iteration. The car feels far more planted, I feel, through high-speed corners. The braking feels far more, the brakes grab, I feel like they grab much better than they had in the past games. That's coming from someone who runs ABS. So in the past games, it was never really that much of a problem, but now if I have to stop in a hurry, they will, which is nice. And on board now, pink Mercedes here, unknown Ute, into the final corner here. Little tap at the left-hand side and the right-hand side now. Pit straight, let's see. Ooh, nice, gonna move up from P4 to P3, unknown Ute. Gonna go 134.5, 134. So the time to beat still a 133.9 by B-Dunk. And it looks like Weiser Square is gonna go ahead and retire from the session there. Quite a spread out field, I must say, folks. Quite a mixed bag of times and whatnot. Your order at the moment stands: B-Dunk P1, TCP Coutinho P2, Unknown Ute P3, Num1 FinFan P4, Voj P5, Funky P6, Jay Lee P7, Big Chungus P8, John P9, and Weiser Square P10. Bringing up the non-points paying positions, it's going to be Ed Torona, Groggy Oregano, Radicus, Saxman, Vital Spartan, Mr. Reimer, and in last we have Silk Weber. 2 minutes to go in the sessions, folks. You will see most cars getting on an outlap here, trying to get that final flyer in. We'll stick with Funky Cactus for this one. Funky, of course, is a go-kart driver in real life. So it's always nice to see a little real-life motorsport translating over into what is otherwise the digital world. And you love to see it. You love to see that there's a connection between the two. There's that marriage of motorsport, both virtual and real. It's quite exciting. I do think that Alpha is a good-looking car, though I wish they had gone with the black livery. I think that would have looked quite good. Let's see, folks. One more flyer here. Down the pit straight, on board the Funky Cactus now. Turn one. It's kind of been a problem for a lot of people today. Braking right at the 50 board, turning in nice and smooth there, using all the track. Taking a shallow line there and working his way to the outside. Turn two, looking for the apex. Nicely done. Turn three, right in that curve beautifully, not to invalidate now. First straight. Here we go now. Get that overtake on. That's going to be a purple first sector there for Funky Cactus. Into the first of the awkward hairpins. Good to not invalidate, using all that curve. Nice way to catch the oversteer. Don't run into the barrier there. You might lose a lot of speed. Beautifully done. Wow, folks. Talk about a ballet of rubber. Into the right-hander here. DRS zone coming up. Let's see. Nicely done. Into hairpin number 3. Late on the brakes, turning in, hitting the apex beautifully, looking for the power on the exit. Short shifting there, get the grip down. Now into the S's, easily the most challenging part of this circuit. Ooh, bit of a lock up there. I hope that doesn't cost him with a purple sector 2 already. Very important to have a rhythm through here. Bit like singing a song, folks, or playing a song on the guitar. I gotta know exactly where to pluck those strings and find those corners. Into the final 2 corners here, taking that nice and smooth now. Final braking zone. Nice. Out to the outside hand, and let's see here, folks. Funky Cactus P2. Well done by the Canadian driver. 134.3, folks. What a drive right there. That is fantastic. What a banger of a lap. But can Coutinho beat it? Unfortunately not. It would seem he has invalidated his lap there in the Mercedes. No one else really on the pace here at the moment, it seems. Ooh, big lockup there for FinFan. Let's see if our pulse hitter B-Dunk trying to get one last lap in here. And folks, I'm very happy to welcome to the booth my broadcast partner, Nathan Hewitt, or as you guys would know him, IB Na. Welcome, my friend. It is so good to have you here. Just a moment, folks. It would seem the bat phone has gone dead. We'll be live in just a moment. But for the meantime, folks, your starting order will be B-Dunk on pole position, followed by Funky Cactus in P2, with FinFan in P3, Coutinho P4, Unknown Oot P5. John in 6th, Vogue 7th, Big Chungus in 8th, Saxman 9th, and Ed Torona in 10th. That brings out your points paying positions off the start line there. Non-points paying positions will be J. Lee Bowens, Radicus, Groggy Oregano, Wiser Square, Mr. Reimer, Vital Spartan, and Silkweaver in the rear. Well, IB, can you hear me?
Looks like, absolutely, man. Looks like some interesting qualifying here. Definitely a lot of new challenges for our drivers at this track, and just glad to be back though racing. It's been a nice month off, but I'm glad to see everybody back out on track.
Dude, I am so juiced. It has been so long since we've had any PPR action. D1 already delivering. One of the hotshot rookies from D4 already going P2 in the preseason race. Funky Cactus, perhaps one of the dark horses this season. But, of course, your reigning champion, B-Dunk, P1.
It's just so great to be able to see us, have this opportunity with the off season that we've had. We really haven't done anything PPR wise since our Silverstone charity event, but that's given us time to regroup and get these drivers really suited into where they needed to be, and that's clearly evident obviously by seeing Funky Cactus now up here in Division 1 and already qualifying such an amazing position for him. Great opportunity for us and great opportunity for obviously our watchers, our viewers.
Yeah, and a couple surprises already. Some of our quicker drivers last year not really showing the pace so far on this new circuit. Obviously, this is a new challenge for most of the drivers. I think I've said that at least 6 times. But new challenge. It's a new rhythm. It's a whole new dance out there on the tarmac. So it will really test who can adapt and who can adapt the fastest. So far, though, no surprise. The guys who have been putting in the hours since the game released, they're already showing their pace. But as we know, this race is, I think, probably 7th or 8th in the calendar, I believe. So
yeah,
you will see much closer qualifying times once we get out to once the regular season rolls around here in a week. But folks, session starts here in about 15 seconds. And again, you are joining us. This is PPR Esports, hosted by Besteon and IB Na. IB, what a crazy start to the real F1 season we've had so far. What do you think's been your biggest surprise?
My biggest disappointment obviously is Ferrari. My biggest surprise has been McLaren, and I am extremely excited to see their pace.
Yeah, no one really saw the Lando podium coming in the season opener. I certainly didn't. I definitely thought that McLaren was going to kind of fall back after the start, but enough chaos in that race ensued, and we got to see pretty much what I think is probably the most unique podium in the hybrid era. McLaren, Ferrari, and Mercedes. That was the first time they've shared a podium ever. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. I believe that was a stat that I can't remember who pulled it out of thin air, but it's just amazing. It's such great teams between the three of them, and for that to be the first time in F1's history, obviously this is our 70th year with the sport, for something like that to happen, and the fact that it took that long is just astonishing.
It is, and you know what? I really do think that we are ushering in a new era of F1, folks. You know, guys like Sebastian and Lewis, they have otherwise been the titans of this sport for the last decade. But I do foresee a... Oh, we got a disqualification. Excuse me, folks. Hate to jump away from the and Whoa, 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 whoa. What's this? This a new game glitch I'm not aware about? Have you seen this?
I have not, but keep in mind this is the first time I've been in a booth since, gosh, what was
Probably
it?
Abu Dhabi.
Yas Marina?
Yeah. Well, folks, as you know, this is a preseason race for a reason. We are trying to stress test. Oh, and from F1 Insights powered by AWS, there is your predicted pit stop strategy, folks. It looks like to be a 2-stop. Thanks to our friends over at Amazon for sponsoring this broadcast. Amazon, please give us money. Anyway. That's cool. I didn't even know we got that. That's exciting.
Yeah, I believe I told you about that when I got the game, because I can say it now. I did have a beta version of the game, and I had messed around a little bit, and I saw a few things like that. And
that is so cool.
I told you about it when the Schumacher edition came out.
We probably spoke in passing, and I was probably just, you know, like, oh, that sounds really cool, and I didn't even fully understand the scope of what you were saying. I apologize.
Guys, he never listens to me, okay? Never.
Yeah, I've got Crofty syndrome. He was just telling people to shut up because there's something going on. Anyway, folks, here we are. That is the end of the formation lap. On the grid now. B-Dunk on pole. Let's see if the rookie in P2 can shake things up for us today. Green flags being waved.
Not yet. Now we
3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are underway, folks, for the preseason Division 1 race here in... and B-Dunk stalled on the line, it seems there. Oh, that's a glitch of some kind. Cars are all over the track. B-Dunk leads into turn 1, followed by Funky Cactus P2. The Alpha Tauri there of FinFan trying to catch him now. Let's see here, folks. That's the pink Mercedes of Unknown Oot in tow very closely. FinFan there trying to catch up to Funky Cactus. On board now. Funky already in a fight here with FinFan. We got yellow flags in Sector 1 that looks to be Radicus parked on the circuit. Not sure what madness is going on with the system here at the moment, but we got cars changing position on the left-hand side here. B-Dunk still leading. FinFin P2, Funky Cactus P3, and Unknown Oot P4 already in the slipstream now. Into Sector 2 we go. No DRS until lap 3, as you know, folks. Unknown Oot pressing that overtake button like he depends on. He's going to look up the outside here. Ooh, he's going to switch back now. Nice move. Ooh, late on the brakes. Has he outbraked himself? Yes, he has. The Alfa Romeo is going to try to get back on, but looks like the dive bomb's paid off. Blue flags going off left to right. The rookie, Funky Cactus, here struggling now in traffic, trying to get back up to the front now. It looks to be an Alpha Tauri 1-2 at the moment. B-Dunk leading his teammate FinFan by about 1 second there. Unknown Oot in P3, flying through there. All the drivers finding a nice rhythm through the S's. And that's Saxman, of course, up into P5. There's your predicted pit stop strategy, folks. Looking at a soft, medium, soft, soft, medium, soft, soft. Or as we saw in the pregame, soft, medium, medium. So it is a toss-up. Ooh, a lot of lockups here today, folks. Such a challenging track in its conception. Long straights, awkward hairpins. That S section, look, it's a nightmare in my opinion. But there you have it, folks.
I absolutely love the S section in my opinion.
Yeah, this just feels like Baku with extra steps. Anyway, folks, after lap 1, there you have it. B-Dunk leads this race, followed by his teammate FinFan in P2, Funky Cactus P3, Big Chungus P4, Unknown Oot in P5 now. Trying to catch up. And, well, that was a pretty intense first lap there. What do you think of Hanoi so far, IB?
I think it would be fantastic, except we've got a lot of glitching going on right now. Chungus actually was in first there for a second, even though he's truly in sixth. So lots of interesting things going on. A lot of people struggling for grip. You know, I don't know if there was a Mercedes that was definitely struggling for grip. I think he should at least try to use his DOS system. I'm kidding, guys. That is not an F1 2020. But
car performance to realistic.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of a challenge. They're sliding around, locking up a lot. It just shows how new the track is to a lot of our drivers, I think.
Yeah, it is fun, though. You know, these drivers are trying to find that limit, and they're having to do it under race conditions, which is, you know, it's never ideal. you're trying to focus on putting in good lap times, and you're also still trying to find the right braking point before you end up, leaving your paints all over the streets of Vietnam.
Absolutely. I mean, could you imagine, let's just say that qualifying would have been in the wet and that we didn't let our drivers practice at all prior to this. It would have just been horrible because they would have came to these dry circumstances not knowing a dang thing.
Ooh, we got two cars
with the fastest lap.
There you have it, folks. He's got his rhythm back down. Coutinho's going to make the pass on John here. John maybe he's going to look up the inside here into turn 1. No, he's going to actually run deep now. Coutinho, definitely one of the fastest new additions to the field. I know he moonlights over in LOR, and he has moved over here to PPR, perhaps hearing of our very, very esteemed reputation, perhaps. Oh, there you have it. Is it the order fixed now?
I'm not sure. It's almost like we have an ACC thing going on here where it's changing per sector. But I hope that that's not the case.
Oh, very well could be. John, though, very close. Oh, he spun. The McLaren driver spun, and he's lost it. He's dinged the Ferrari there. He's all over the circuit. He's got to stay out of the way of the oncoming traffic. That is just a tragic moment for John. That will send him to the back of the pack there as he waits for the rest of the field to pass. I would very much expect him to pit for the fresh tire ASAP.
Weiser Square going on Jay Lee Bowens down the inside right now towards the hairpin. Is he going to be able to get it done? Jay Lee trying to fight around the outside with a hard compound tire. Weiser pushes him off.
Huge lockup. Yeah, that was quite the awkward battle there, but it looks like Weiser has come off better than the Mercedes driver. Interesting strategy to go on the hards this early in the race. I'm curious what Jay Lee's thinking there.
Jay Lee's just going to go as far and deep into the race as he can. Of course, that comes back down to maybe why I saw him sliding so much earlier is you're not going to be able to get those hard compound tires warmed up enough in a formation lap.
Certainly not.
That's why he's struggling, and we're seeing him fall back through the field.
Certainly. So, folks, your big winner so far looks to be Saxman up 4 positions. Groggy Regano up 5 positions. Big losers looks to be Coutinho and Funky Cactus, of course. And then, of course, John now going in for that undercut, hoping to make some positions up later in this race and get the pedal down. But there's your leader, B-Dunk, with a 2-second gap to his teammate. FinFan going to pretty much play tail gunner now for the rest of the race to keep Unknown Newt and Funky from trying to catch up. Big Chung is 4 seconds back. He seems to be kind of the Formula 1.5 guy here at the moment. And he's got only about less than a second gap to the Mercedes of Coutinho. Coutinho trying to get the pedal down here in the slipstream. Down the second straight. DRS for him here.
Bowens around.
Oh. Same spot as John. Look at that. I see a corner.
It's a very hard section because you're trying to put the power down as early as possible, obviously, to get down that back straight, but you just light up those rear tires and it's all over.
Not to mention the fact you got a weight transfer going. It's going from like left to right. That's definitely not good. Ooh, Chungus locking his tires there massively, trying to find the edge for the braking zone. He's mightily struggling with Coutinho hunting him down now. Ooh, gonna get close here. Chung. Oh, almost. Yeah, maybe thought at the inside there. Perhaps not now. Into the final portion of the S's here. The double left-hander before the finish line. Chung is gonna hit the brakes a little early. They're still trying to find the limit, but Coutinho will have the slipstream coming down the pit straight. Let's see who's gonna have a better exit through there. Chungus getting the power down just a hair early. Overtake on. Let's see. Up the inside, late on the brakes. That should be no drama move, but I think Chungus is going to hold him on the outside there now. This battle is heating up, folks. IB, how's it looking with Funky Cactus there and Unknown Oot?
Funky Cactus did just put in a fastest lap. He hasn't activated overtake quite yet to get up to Unknown. He's just kind of sitting back and hanging in there.
He might
for him to make a mistake.
Yeah, he might actually get 2 for 1 here. Now he's going to have the overtake and the DRS down the longest straight on the track here. In the slipstream now, Unknown Nude also just trying to stay behind FinFan. FinFan knows he's got to keep these 2 behind to let his teammate build that gap now. Gap staying steady at about 2.5 seconds. DRS is going to be open. FinFan's a sitting duck. We got Unknown Nude looking around the outside. No, FinFan having to go defensive into the hairpin. Let's see. Oh, that's a beautiful move by Funky. Almost. Oh, but Unknown Nude's going to go past. He's going to go past FinFan, getting it all wrong there. And now he's under pressure from the Canadian driver. Unknown Nude up to P2 with a beautiful move there to get that done.
Under pressure right now by the Mercedes as well. Mercedes trying to go around the inside before getting into the S's had to concede.
Yeah, Chungus really struggling through the S's. Coutinho, though, he's looking planted in that silver arrow, or black arrow, if you will, folks. Gap only about 0.6 there. Funky still about 0.4 behind FinFan. Looking down the midfield here, Reimer's trying to close up on Ed. Reimer done well to get a lot of free positions from those early pit stops.
That's getting ready to go for a move on FinFin down the inside into turn 1. No contact, still going around the outside.
Oh, I think he's got it done! And he's got it done, folks. Round the outside like a trailer park curl. That's going to be move done. Funky now up 2 P3, and FinFin going to get a hit with a 3-second penalty. Wow!
To add insult to injury, FinFin now not only has to get back past Funky in order to be on the podium, he has to build a 3-second gap.
That
just can't happen.
Oh, that is going to be a very tall order on a circuit like this where the slipstream is everything, folks, as far as I can see. But your order now, B-Dunk leads Unknown Oot. Unknown Oot now is going to put in some purple sectors here and see if he can't catch his rival up there in P1. Coutinho still trying to get past Chungus. Chungus can go to the defensive here. DRS for Coutinho. He's going to be on the outside into the hairpin. Let's see, folks. Is that move done for the Mercedes driver? Almost. Chungus going to try to hold him. Nope. And he's gotten around. Ooh, but he's locked up and he's gone deep. He's gone deep, but he's covered off Chungus anyway. Chungus not going to be happy about that. Kind of see that as a bit of a elbows out move through the S's, though. Ooh, huge lockup. Man, that no ABS looks like a nightmare on this track. Hard pass for me. I'm going to stay right where I belong in D3.
I think for sure what it is that, you know, these drivers just really aren't used to the different amounts of grip and everything quite yet. And that ABS, you know, yeah, with it being off, they're used to that. They've had that last season. And I'm sure Coutinho, before he came to PPR, had to deal with the same thing. It just has to do with the difference in the change of this game. But it does look like that now for Chungus, according to AWS, at least on my screen, his pit window has just opened up. So we should see him off those softs here soon. And a lot of these soft compound drivers should be coming in.
Let's go ahead and take a look, folks. We've got Groggy in first. There's 0 laps, so he's gone for his pit stop, it would seem. Or the tire chart could be all wrong. I don't know. But the point is that the top 7 cars there, all on identical strategies at the moment, with your overcut guys on the bottom there. I've heard some talk around the rumor mill that the overcut has gotten very powerful in this game. They've tried to balance it out where the undercut kind of used to be the only way to jump your teammates, or your rivals, as it were, excuse me. Coutinho getting past Chungus there again. But let's see who of these top 7 will react first. Funky up on the back of Unknown Dude here, putting in some insane times now. Really trying to get back into that P2 and go after B-Dunk. B-Dunk just comfortably sitting in the lead here, just trying to manage his tires and get to the finish.
Chungus back around Coutinho. Just kind of locked in a battle here, aren't they? I mean, they can't really let each other go enough, and it's just causing them to lose time to FinFan up there.
Yeah, look at that gap. It went down from like 4.5 now down to 5.2 seconds there. So really not doing themselves any favors. They might think about pitting, and FinFan's in. There you have it. First to react. And Funky now on the back of Unknown Nude here into turn 1. He's going to have the DRS. Not quite enough, though, folks. That overtake might just be depleted. Oh, excuse me. What did I do? Sorry, folks. A little rusty on the controls here. Chungus and Coutinho still going at it. Pink Mercedes and the Alfa Romeo still going at it as well. Let's head over to Ed Torona here. Looks to be in a close one as well. And there you have it. Pit window is open here for the hard compound. If you'd like to go into the hard compound. Though I doubt we will see that today. And that Saxman looks like he's getting lapped at the moment. Not his day, it would seem. Or the chart could be wrong. We'll never know.
I'm going to go with the chart is actually correct on this. And I mean, we're starting to see the first issues here of obviously the issue with where the pit lane. Saxman around and into the wall. Oh, and gets T-boned by Alfa Romeo of Ed.
Ooh, that is tough for both those drivers. Both those drivers. And now he is just being blue flagged to death. But Funky moved on Unknown Oots there, folks. He is very much back in this fight, and he is going to want to try and chip away at that gap, or maybe look to react to a undercut here to his rival in front there. But, nice job from the Canadian driver. Get back in the fight. Oot is going to try to catch him back up here in that racing point. TCP Coutinho, though, putting in some real flyers. Ooh, B-dunk. 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, folks. So as it stands at the moment, Funky Cactus leads this race. Both into the pit here. Oh, man, we could have ourselves quite the battle for first.
We're back to that rustiness, right? I mean, they know the limits. They know that they're there. But just being out of the cockpit and not under the pressure of your own league, it definitely causes you to relax a little bit and make you think you've got things. And B-Dunk definitely feeling a little bit of the pressure. So maybe Funky can add to that this year. Maybe Funky is going to be able to push and give B-Dunk another title fight. Kind of ironic that it will be another Alfa Romero car, making him stress out a little bit. Huh?
Certainly. And folks at home, please do remember these car assignments are not permanent. This was a first-come, first-served basis, as this was preseason. There are no points for tonight, just bragging rights, which is important, just as much as points in some cases. But
I think they're very important to Funky, especially.
No, certainly. If you're a rookie, you got to come out swinging. Just ask Lewis Hamilton in his first season. But as it stands, folks, Unknown Newt still needs to pit here. B-Dunk is leading by about 3 seconds, but with that time penalty, he is down by 2. FinFan sitting P4 there. Wiser Square P5. You see that your medium runners have kind of done their thing. Wiser Square was one of the earlier stops, I believe. Coutinho's going to get on those mediums now and try to get back in this fight. Chungus sliding down to P9 there. And unfortunately for Ed Torona, he is kind of sandwiched between a bunch of medium runners. Curious of Groggy to go onto the softs there, though. Looks like he's hoping for an aggressive strategy, and he'll finish this race on the mediums. So good to see maybe a bit of a mix-up in tire theory here. But interesting. We will have to see how this all plays out. This is new circuit, new ideas, new tricks. IB, what do you think? Would you err on the side of caution, first race? Or since it's preseason, are you going to really give it all you got and see if you can't find the secret ingredient?
I mean, let's be honest. It's preseason. This is really just a gigantic testing session for a lot of these drivers, and they're just going to dip their toe in the water and figure out exactly what's going on and just kind of go from there. And I mean, we're seeing a lot of these drivers, like I said, dip their toe in the water. This is their first, challenge with their peers in their division. This is their first battle. So they're trying to figure out, how do these other drivers drive around me? How can I drive around them? And what's the best way to get around this track? There's so many different elements going towards these drivers right now. Not only the game, not only their peers, but of course, just the lack of a racing line. If you guys don't know, we did allow our drivers last year to use a racing line, and we've taken that away from Division 1 this year. And a lot of these drivers aren't used to that still. And it's a change in adaptiveness that they're having to get used to as well. So there's just so much that they're adapting to right now. It just, again, it's one of those things that attests to the talent of our Division 1 class.
That is very true. And the fact that they are adapting as quick is certainly a testament to all of their talent. And it is curious, though, how I want to say this. When you turn offline, that does present an incredible challenge because it's already hard enough to drive these types of cars in a video game because you have to really just kind of change your entire mode of thinking to be very quick and reactive. But like if you go over and play like GT Sport or ACC, the cars are moving at half the speed and the braking zones are a lot longer. In these, you're really just trying to find the absolute latest point, It really does pay to be aggressive, but, it's kind of one of those risk versus reward. You overcook it, well, you're going to send yourself into a gravel trap, or maybe if it was a place like Baku, into the castle.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm glad to see Hanoi come along, and we're seeing the different challenge like we see at Baku, just in a different fashion. I was kind of worried about this track at first, but after playing the game, I really actually enjoy the flow of this track, and I think that it's a lot of fun. I think that the challenge here is definitely different than anything else we get at another track, as we see FinFin lose control of his car kind of there. But, I think that the challenge that Zandvoort and Hanoi have both added to the calendar season is a beautiful and great addition.
Man, Zandvoort, I know we're trying to focus on Vietnam right now, but that is a dope track. I love that place.
It's a roller coaster, man.
It really is. I mean, that final banked turn before the start-finish straight, I would not be surprised if we saw some kind of a, photo finish there this year, because it is just so much fun to throw the car around there because it's just so planted. There's so many of those undulating hills and corners and the bankings. You really feel like the car is, being pushed to the limit, and it's quite a unique sensation, even on a sim rig.
It'll definitely be a treat. My hope is that Cody's, can somehow find a way to muster up the ability to make a billable expansion pack. Obviously, something that would come at the cost of the player for the additional tracks that we've had added this year. But that would be really awesome as well. Could you imagine we would end up having a 24, 25 calendar race season at this point?
Oh man, I would love to see Nürburgring. We got Mugello. I heard today we're getting Turkey, which is crazy because I don't think Istanbul's been in the calendar in a long time.
I haven't heard of Istanbul. I know we're getting Mugello. I know we're getting Imola. I know we're getting Nürburgring and Portugal.
Yeah, Portimao. I actually don't know anything about that place, so I'm very curious to see.
I mean, they haven't raced there in my time as F1, and I've been in F1 since, the early 2000s, so that says something.
Yeah, and I was going to say, you've been with the sport quite a while here. And Chunkus there trying to defend his position from the pink Mercedes, going side by side here now into that long straight. Here's the hairpin coming up. Keep an eye out, folks. Let's see who's going to brake later. DRS is open for the Renault up the inside. Big lockup from the Renault, but looks to be job done, and Weiser Square will have to tuck in for the S's and hope that he makes a mistake. Just a real quick recap of your top drivers, folks. B-Dunk still in the lead by about 4.5 seconds. He's nursing a 5-second penalty, so Cactus is just trying to maintain that gap. We got Unknown Oot in P3, who's on the hard tire, kind of going for an offset strategy there, hoping that he can catch the top two guys maybe on strategy. We got FinFan P4, Coutinho P5, Chungus P6, Weiser Square P7, Vogue P8, Silkweaver P9.
Oh, Funky drifted around the corner and sideways into the wall.
Oh no, and that is just that could be curtains for him. That is just tragic. Only two laps on those mediums, and he will have to finish off those stints. He really will not be able to go in for fresh rubber. Unfortunately, that does allow B-Dunk now to retain that P1. So we will see if he can reclaim that. But Unknown Newton now, it's up to him. Close that gap to 5 seconds. We'll see if he's got the pace.
I don't think Funky is going to give that away. You can probably attest to this more racing in the same division as him last season. But he seems like he's a pretty stout and, bullheaded driver. Maybe we need to bring Lamborghini back into the, Formula One and let him be the raging bull here. Put him in a Red Bull car.
I was going to say, we've got 4 bulls at the moment. I can speak from experience. I held him behind me for about half my race at Monaco. And luckily it was a track. It's Monaco. You can't overtake there for anything, really. So all I did was just park it in the middle of the circuit, and then, me trying to fight him off, I ended up grinding my tires into a pulp, and he just breezed by me. And he kind of, if he could have waved to me, he would have, because I think that was his plan. Because he actually never really tried to overtake. And in retrospect, I probably should have just focused on going fast, but instead I was focused on the pink car in my mirrors. So, lesson learned. I'm wiser for it. Weiser Square diving into the pits there. Looking for an undercut here, maybe. Oh, no, he's on that. He's on the offset strategy there since he pitted much earlier. We'll see what he's got going on. Let's see. Let's look at these gaps, folks. Seems to me the closest battle on the track. We got Reimer getting past Groggy there. Groggy on that hard compounded tire, just trying to catch up, make up some ground. Funky getting that gap down on Unknown Oot. Of course, they are on the straight. Into the
Funky,
second hairpin.
He's not gonna let him go. Groggy picking up a 3-second penalty there. Man, the track limits on this game too. I'm not sure if we're set to strict tonight. I can only assume that we are because we normally are. But track limits on this game are a pain in the keister, if you ask me. I mean, it is just so hard to keep the car on the track. This one is a lot easier, Hanoi, in my opinion. But man, Zandvoort, oh, the corner just before the banking, I always invalidate, and it's just horrible.
Oh, I
But
know what you mean, because if you even what does Super GT say? If you it's a difference between like a pixel or like no pixel crossing over that curb, and maybe these guys borrowed that philosophy, because I noticed the same thing as well. When I hopped into time trial to feel out the physics and test setups and whatnot, I was invalidating everything. Like I couldn't put a valid lap in to save my life, and well, you know, that was that. I didn't submit any as a result.
Yeah. Like I mean, I practiced and I played around, and then when we announced, hey, we got to do time trials to do all this, and I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. And after I practiced a little bit more just on some other tracks and played around, I was like, I'm gonna invalidate on every single corner. I'm not even gonna try this season. So guys, if you want to see me on the track, it's probably gonna be best that you wait for an exhibition race or something like that. But yeah, I'm not gonna be on the track at all this season with how this is going.
Well, it's a good thing we're comfy and warm up here in the commentary booth. I'm not sweating anything at the moment.
Not at all.
If I might share a little conversation, totally off topic, but being a new resident of Florida, I decided to have alligator for dinner tonight.
Oh my lord, you had alligator of all things?
I did. We breaded it, and we put it in some Valentina sauce, and we fried it in some vegetable oil, and dipped it in some honey mustard, and it was delicious. I actually have some still waiting for me once this race is over.
So I need you to freeze me some and send it out to Oklahoma so I can give that a try. I'll try your recipe.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's certainly worth it. And speaking of worth it here, Funky breathing down the neck of Unknown Oot, really making those medium tires work for him here. He's made up the gap to the Racing Point. It looks like on raw pace alone, he's got the advantage. Oot looking very uncomfortable, as you can see there, braking way too early for a lot of these corners. Just trying his best to keep the car on the circuit and on the racing line. Huge lock up there. Funky concertinaing up almost into his gearbox. Curious to see how the tire wear model in this game works. With all the locking up today, I'd imagine the fronts are sliding all over the place.
Yeah, and I think that this game is a little bit more understeer than it is oversteer. I mean, when you get the oversteer, it's snap, but I think this game has a little bit more understeer, at least in my experience. But from what I'm seeing here, I mean, Funky is about to pretend to be an alligator himself and snap Unknown Newt out of existence.
Gator chomp. Oh, but he's overcooked it.
Off the track, no.
And that is a 3-second time penalty for the Alfa Romeo driver. That is just, that could be, you could say it's lack of experience. You could say it's frustration playing up there. But unfortunately, that will probably seal his fate, and he will just have to build out that gap and, cross his fingers for a P2 here. FinFan, though, has been quietly making his way back into the picture. P4 here on those 7-lap-old mediums. Coutinho as well looking to make up some time in the black Mercedes. Chungus done well in P6. These two finally building out a gap from one another.
Unknown Moot not giving it up quite yet. Yeah, I mean, Funky, obviously, frustration, pressure, rookie season. We saw it from Lewis in his rookie season, right? I mean, at China, he
the gravel trap.
And he goes into the gravel trap. I mean, come on now. That's just kind of rookie mistakes. And, maybe that's what we're seeing a little bit here from Funky, is he's getting frustrated and he's just pushing a little too hard. But hopefully he can build up this gap here. He's already almost a second a lap later, even with his mess up. So if he can make these tires last, he should be able to run away from Unknown. And as long as Unknown Mute's tires don't come back into play for him.
I do believe that even if Unknown Oot, even if Funky has to pit, he will have the advantage. But we got a great battle here at the back of the field between Ed and Mr. Reimer, fighting through the S's, in fact. Ed having to cover him off through one of the those high-speed corners. Braking really late there, the Ferrari, trying to make up some distance here to the Alfa Romeo driver. Reimer and Ed, both regulars in the Division 1. Both guys who know what it's like to drive without assist. Both guys who know what it's like to put the car on the edge, up the inside, maybe late on the brakes for the Ferrari. Yeah, that's a beautiful move down there, and he's gotten in front of the Alfa. Could be an interesting midfield battle this year, folks. A lot of new names, a lot of variables here. You know, a lot of rookies, in fact, compared to last year. I'm very excited to see how those all pan out. It feels a bit like the 2019 season. A lot of fresh faces out here on the grid. You know, that presents a lot of excitement among the drivers, especially among the viewers like myself. So pretty happy to see how that one pans out.
Gives us something new to talk about, right?
Certainly. You know, with B-Dunk winning everything last year, it did get a little old. At some points, I will have to concede. But up here at the front, Coutinho chipping away at FinFan now. Brought that gap down sizably. FinFan really kind of struggling to get the pace down, and he's getting caught by the Mercedes driver here. Could see that battle starting to heat up here in just a moment. But, folks, your order at the moment is going to be B-Dunk P1, Funky Cactus P2, Unknown Oot P3, of course, Funky carrying that 3-second time penalty. FinFan P4, Coutinho P5, Chungus P6, Voj P7, Silkweaver P8, and Silkweaver into the pits there, likely going for a medium compound of tires to finish the race on. You got Weiser Square P9, J-Lee P10. He'll likely have to pit once more before this race is out. Reimer in 11th, Ed 12th, Groggy 13th, Vital Spartan 14th, Radicus 15th, John, fresh set of mediums there, 16th, and bringing up the rear, it's the Saxman after a very unfortunate spin, and then the adventure with the barriers earlier. But looks like we got Coutinho now. He's in the DRS of FinFan here. FinFan, see what he's going to do. He's going to go defensive. Move back to the outside here. Is the Mercedes going to go up the inside? No, he's going to think better of that one. Into the hairpin. He's going to try to build that gap up again through the S's. Of course, these cars do have difficulty following with that dirty air. 10 laps to go, folks.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing what the effect of dirty air has in this game. I mean, it had it in last game too, but, you know, braking behind another car, it changes your braking point dramatically. Like, it's phenomenal how much it changes it just because of being behind another car and not having that additional downforce. I mean, you're almost reenacting Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo at Baku every single time you're chasing a car and behind it when you brake.
Ah, and look who's joined the lobby. Do I spy Hoopalicious?
You do, but he's a little late, isn't he?
Just a touch late to the. Maybe he's here to be someone's race engineer. Who knows?
I mean, you know, that's what I did a couple of times for Kirk last season in our exhibition races. But yeah, it's always helpful to have an engineer, somebody talking in your ear. Hey, he's this far behind you. Just focus on the driving. I've got you, kind of thing. How much ERS does that car in front got? 2%. Go.
He's yours for the taking. Folks, and look at that skyline view of Hanoi. What a beautiful city. I myself have not been there, but I have been to Vietnam. I spent some time in Ho Chi Minh City, and I've also spent some time in Hoi An. It's a lovely country. If you ever get the opportunity in the post-COVID world, I'd highly recommend it. Have yourself a bowl of pho, sit on the river, watch the fishing boats go by. There's nothing really like it, and I'm really excited to see F1 make its way into Southeast Asia. Being Vietnamese myself, I think it's really cool to see them reaching out to a new market, a new fan base. They seemed pretty ecstatic about it when Red Bull was doing the donuts, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I think as close as I'm going to get to Vietnam is going over to the Asian district in Oklahoma City and, you know, enjoying some Vietnamese food there. But I mean, I definitely am really happy to see F1 continuing to expand. The calendar year getting longer and longer, adding additional challenges for our, not only our drivers, but our teams and everything. And I think it's only going to get more exciting. The fact that we're adding in additional tracks this year just means it's more likely for us to add additional tracks next season, possibly. Who's to say that 2021 isn't that mega calendar that we were asking for here in this game by asking for those additional tracks that are being added to the calendar due to COVID? I think it, you know, Codemasters has a really neat opportunity to even make it possibly adjustable to do the COVID calendar versus the traditional seasonal calendar. Lots of possibilities, and we wouldn't get to experience that if it wasn't for the pandemic. And it's not that the pandemic isn't a horrible, awful thing, but it's kind of great to see the sport be able to fluctuate and test different things out that they haven't been able to do in so long, just because of what's happened.
Certainly, certainly. And with that said, there are a lot of talks now. FinFan going to get a 3-second time penalty there. But yeah, there are talks now bringing the European Grand Prix back, bringing Germany back, and then having an alternating Hockenheim-Nürburgring schedule like they used to. I would personally, I would love to see there be 2 Grand Prix in Italy. It just makes so much sense,
I'm fine with 3 even.
We're going to get 3 this year. And, the Ferrari faithful will not be happy about that one with the way things are headed. I don't know if you've seen Mattia Binotto pretty much came out and said it's a wash this year and next. So looks like we'll have to wait just a little longer to see Charles up on that top step of the podium once more.
I mean, I get it. I still am hopeful, though, that they can unlock something there. I find it very interesting, just to talk about next year and talk about the seasons in general. Mercedes hasn't re-signed Lewis yet, and they haven't re-signed Valtteri yet. What are they doing?
Well, I'm kind of a little woke to this. I do think that, nice of FinFan to let his teammate through there on the optimal strategy, but I'm a little woke to this. I think F1's going to push Hamilton out of the sport.
Really?
I think it's possible because it's so insane how the hybrid era has gone. And obviously, it's not one guy's fault that one team decided to get out ahead and solve the formula, as it were.
Yeah.
But there is kind of that point of we need other people to win races. We need other people to stand on the podium. There needs to be some kind of parity. It's bad for the brand if you look at the way things have gone. The last time a non-Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull stood on the podium was 2012, and it was Lotus. So
yeah.
Definitely in need of a shakeup of some kind. They're hoping the regs will do that, and the cost caps and the development freezes and whatnot. I'll
tell you another team I'm really happy for, though, is Williams. I think that Williams
they
is
look
actually
great.
able to stick in the sport. I think they're going to be able to stick into the sport now, with the changes that have happened there.
I do think that they're finally on the up and up. Get a little battle here, folks. It's Ed Torona and Jay Lee Bones here into the hairpin. Jay Lee going mega deep there, really overcooking it. Not sure what he was going for, but looks like he's got the exit, and he's flying by Ed. Getting the overtake on Coutinho, new fastest lap of the race, 1:37. 1:37 is the time to beat.
While we've been discussing the real sport, something very interesting has happened here, and I'm going to make a proposition to you. If you're in Funky Cactus's shoes right now, you're leading the race.
Oh, I was just thinking about this. Say what you're going to say, though.
Are you going to pit, or are you going to try to push that car to the end? Granted, he has a 3-second time penalty. He's already forfeited to unknown mute, but he's got 15 seconds back to Coutinho.
He's got to stay out.
If I'm Funky, I'm going to stay out, and I'm going to push.
I need you. I need to know what the tire life is.
I'm going to be honest. I mean, as much as I'm happy to see us trying to incorporate graphics to newer drivers, explain to me how Hamilton can have 70% life and Verstappen's got 40% life, and they're about the same amount of time on track on the same compound. I mean, where are you getting that readout from? There's no way to actually tell that. Even if you're an engineer on the wall, the only way you can tell about your tire life is if you're the driver in the car.
I was going to say, it's all just temperature. If you're on the wall, that's all they've got is those sensors.
Yeah, it's temperature and pressure, and that's it.
Ooh, is that a flat spot on his left rear that I see? I see some. Yeah, I think I might see some kind of deformation rather, on that left rear, or right rear even. Let's see if we can get a better shot here, Mr. TV Director, whoever you are.
Have they started doing that? If they've started doing that on F1 2020, I'm going to lose my mind.
It could just be the graphics. I'm not sure. I'm streaming this from Console Companion.
I think it's the shadow overlay that we're seeing here, with all the shadows here. Unknown Mute up the inside, though, down into the hairpin, locking up. Funky trying to cut back and is not going to be able to do it. That's one position down. Oh, Funky around into the wall again.
That'll do it for him. That's curtains, as Into the Barrier says. That is curtains. Unfortunate for Funky. That is just, well, that's just kind of been his race today. You know, working out those kinks. Coutinho's, I was going to say, though, I mean, he kind of dusted the midfield by the same token. Like, Coutinho's not going to catch him at this rate unless he decides to pit, which I doubt he would unless he wanted to steal that fastest lap away.
I mean, if I was crew chief, I would tell him not to do it because he's carrying that 3-second time penalty. He will not only lose the position, but he's going to come out in
probably about 6th or 7th. No
matter what he does, yeah.
Yeah, that would not be ideal. But, folks, at the moment, B-Dunk, he's on the optimal strategy. He's on the fastest tire, and he is chasing down the pink Mercedes. Remember, folks, B-Dunk does have a 3-second time penalty to deal with as well. So he will have to build out a gap. So it is crucial that he gets out in front of unknown Oot here. Only 4 laps to go, too, so it would really require a pretty egregious pace difference between these two drivers to allow for something like that. But looks like he's got the overtake charged up there. Probably going to get the move done here. Let's see what Oot's going to do now. On board with B-Dunk. Unknown Oot sticking to the left-hand side here. He's going to go defensive. He's going to park it in the middle there. Oh, B-Dunk's going to switch up the inside. Huge lockup. It's not enough. He's got to back out of that one. That was a wishful thinking move, to say the least.
The Jamaican driver, Unknown Newt, he is still just doing fantastic. He has no penalties, no nothing. I mean, he's got a couple warnings here and there, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to be fine if he can keep the car inside track limits and make B-Dunk work for this. That is an interesting place to pass, though.
Oh, what a move. He's going to take it over the curb. Wow. That takes balls, and he's on controller. B-Dunk's on controller. He's not even on a wheel. Wow.
All right. So now here's the work that needs to be done. B-Dunk needs to create a gap here. Thankfully, Unknown is on the harder compound tires, so it should be pretty easy for B-Dunk to scamper away now on those fresh softs. But he's going to have to do some work and put in some flyers. It's qualifying mode. It's hammer time for B-Dunk.
It is. It certainly is. On the tip of my tongue, IB. You are a silver-tongued fox. You are just one step ahead of me today, aren't you? Folks,
I'm so sorry, man. I've missed this so much.
I know. It almost feels better to be in the booth than on track. Folks, I'll run you through the order one more time as it stands. B-Dunk in P1, still fighting that 3-second time penalty behind him. It is Unknown Oot, who's going to look to stay within that 3-second window. Behind them, Funky Cactus in P3, rocking a 3-second time penalty as well. So it looks like he will probably retain that, knock on wood, assuming he can get the car home in one piece. Coutinho P4, FinFan P5.
Unknown around the outside into the hairpin, trying to pull the switchback on B-Dunk. Couldn't get it done. I'm sorry to cut you off there.
No. I'm
action, of course.
I've got the camera on these two. There is no one else on track that matters at this immediate moment. So let's keep focused on this action. I totally follow you there. But looking at the rest of the order, it is Weiser Square P6, Chungus P7, Silkweaver P8, Vogue P9, and J. Lee Bowens in P10. Your non-points paying positions right now, it is Reimer, Ed, Groggy Oregano, John, Vital Spartan, Radicus, and Saxman down in last place there. So 1 second down. 3 more laps to go here, 26, 27, 28. And he's already about halfway to getting his goal. If he can get up to 1.5. Looks like those hard compound tires really are not putting up much of a fight against the softs there.
Yeah, I think that they're finally starting to fade away. He had one last good real attack that we saw down into the hairpin. But now it's all up to B-Dunk. It's all up to the clock. Can he get away? He's at 2 seconds right now. I think he's going to be able to manage this. The question is now, more than anything, in my opinion, is Funky going to be able to hold on to third? or is he going to fall back too much? Because I think Funky has about 6 seconds of penalty total. I'm not sure, but I'm going to make a double check here for us before I put this 100% out
Yeah,
there.
look at that. Coutinho's eating that. He's eating that. Look at that. It's down from 9.1 to 8.8, so he must be on the straight. But he's eating away at that interval there, and I would not be surprised to see if it really came down to like a Lando Norris scenario 7 type thing. Was it scenario 7, right? Or scenario 12? I don't remember. It was still epic. That was so cool.
So it looks like Funky is carrying 1 3-second that he collected on lap 16. I'm not seeing another one, but he is carrying a warning currently, so he's in likelihood to get another one if he runs too wide, I would believe.
Which here, if the tires are falling away, that can always happen. You brake a little late, you lock up, and you next thing you know, you're flying over the apex instead of next to the apex. And well, you know how Cody's is. Rules is rules.
Absolutely, man. I'm so glad that we're starting to get these updated liveries on these cars, though. A little notice of a missing sticker, it looks like, on the black Mercedes, but that's completely fine. Can't wait to get the McLaren one in, though. The McLaren one, I think, looks great.
Oh, with the re-races one on the Halo, I do like that.
Well, that, and then they have the sponsorship now on the side pod, and the pride flag along the side of it as well, streaking off. Looks great.
It does. And folks, of course, if any of you are interested in donating to any of those particular causes in the furthering of social justice around the world and ending racism, please do head over to any of the listed charities on the, I believe, Formula One website. It has some places you can donate, as well as, a quick Google search would return quite a few organizations that would be happy to take your money and put it to use. But anyway, folks, back to the action here. That gap sitting at about 2.9, so it's looking like in all likelihood he's going to pull out 3 seconds on those soft tires, but there is still time. Vosge getting a corner-cutting penalty there for 3 seconds, and a bit of a lock-up there. It is just hovering right at 3 seconds. It is so close.
Unknown is doing absolutely everything he can to keep B-Dunk in range. This could come down to the wire unless B-Dunk can pull something magical out of his hat here within the next lap.
Yeah, seriously. Final lap of the race, folks. Order still stands. B-Dunk P1, Unknown Oot P2, Funky Cactus P3. Coutinho took a bite out of that interval down to 5 seconds. You think he might need just 2 or 3 more laps if he wanted to catch the Alfa Romeo there. Looking down the order, Vosge doing well to catch back up. He is now barreling down on Jay Lee. Let's take a look at this battle. Get ourselves just a little action. Ferrari on Mercedes, something we probably won't see much of this year. So enjoy it while you can. Jay Lee on those soft matched tires, and Vosge here on the medium. So it looks like his tire advantage might not come in quite yet.
Man, Coutinho is almost there. He's at 3.8 right now.
That is close.
Like, this is Lando Norris, scenario 7, overtake for 3 seconds here. You know,
it's so close.
I mean, I'm on board with Coutinho right now. His fuel light is flashing like crazy.
Let's have a look.
He's doing absolutely everything.
Oh, he's got the rev glitch for me, so I'll just stay in the broadcast cam.
3 flat right now. 3 flat. He is.
Oh, he's got it to 2.8. That could be it.
That's it. That is it. 1.5.
God,
something
is Funky out of gas? What happened? He totally fell off the pace. Or is that a puncture for Funky, maybe?
No, Funky's low fuel light is flashing. It's done. He's got to find a.
Oh.
He doesn't need to find a way to get around it, but it's all over.
He's gonna perk it. Oh, and that's it. Coutinho will take it on track. Coutinho will take it on track. There you have it. Funky gave it his all. It'll be P4 for the Alfa Romeo. Great job to Coutinho. First PPR race. Going P3. We got Unknown Oot, P2. And, of course, well, folks, he's not the championship leader quite yet. This is only preseason, but very much putting his...
Calm down. We're not crowning him yet.
Yeah. Well, to quote Larry Green, if you want to crown him, no one's crowning him. He is just he's just the preseason winner. He's shown that he's still got the pace, and folks, he is the guy to beat at the moment. Looking at the rest of the field, FinFan, P5, Weiser Square, P6 at the moment. Jay Lee's going to come home, P7. Reimer rounding the last couple corners here. Voj, Ferrari's coming home in tandem there. Very nice. 8 and 9. Silk Weaver done well to work his way up the pack up to P10. Looks like he got the strategy to work for him. Oh, and Voj going to get a huge penalty there. Drop down to P10. A couple more drivers crossing the line here. I think Chungus had some connection issues, so unfortunately I think the AI was in charge there for quite a while. John, P13. Groggy coming on the last couple turns here. Vital Spartan as well. Radicus is already done, and looks like Saxman is just going for a Sunday drive. So, IB, preseason thoughts, preseason indicators, surprises. What do you think?
I think that our drivers definitely have quite a bit of work to do here. Not only at this track, but maybe just with the handling model of this game. A lot of lockups, a lot of aggression out here. It's going to be a great season here for PPR Division 1. Just watching how close these battles are getting and how much pace we have. Funky Cactus, great showing on his rookie race, along with Catino. I think we've got 2 drivers there that we're definitely going to have to keep an eye out for all season long.
Yeah, I do like the look of this top 5 battle. We could see some pretty saucy stuff at Melbourne next week, folks. Do tune in. Same time, Tuesday night. I will be here. IB will be here. We'll bring you all the action from Australia, digitally, of course. Looks to be a banger, though. And, keep an eye out on socials. We're going to conduct a couple driver interviews, hopefully, get the lowdown on what they're looking forward to in this upcoming 22 race season. We've got some new tracks. We said goodbye to Hockenheim. And we've also got, I'd like to say it, but I felt that most of the tarmac I've been on so far in 5-lappers, that everything feels really good. I think we're in for probably, if not, the most competitive season in Formula One PPR. Not to quote Christian Horner, but
it's going to be great, man. I'm extremely looking forward to it.
And, of course, to you all at home, do continue to stay safe out there. Wear a mask, wash your hands, don't touch your face, stay 6 feet apart. For those of you in other parts of the world facing other things, we are with you. Keep your head down. Try to stay out of trouble. And, we got ourselves a bit of a glitch here, it would seem. So, folks, there'll be no interviews today, unfortunately. But congratulations to B-Dunk. Achievement unlocked for myself, of course.
Grabbing the popcorn, man.
And Weiser Square is your driver of the day. There you have it. Great drive for the Racing Point driver. Go live to the podium. There you have it. All right, Cody's. We'll give you that one. That was a Lewis Hamilton inspired one.
Oh, I don't like it.
No, wasn't that Lewis Hamilton at Mexico, right? He comes up on the elevator.
I don't like it.
Lewis is probably the only guy who's got pockets on his race suit. Anywho, there you have it, folks. We'll go to the finishing order one more time. B-Dunk P1, Ununu P2, Coutinho P3, Funky P4, FinFan 5, Weiser Square 6, Jay Lee 7th, Reimer in 8th, Silk Weaver 9th, and Voj in 10th. Bring up your non-points paying positions. It will be Ed, Chungus, John, Groggy, Vital Spartan, Radicus, and in last was Saxman. An excellent preseason race. I cannot wait to get to Australia next week. I have been your host, Best Teon. Anything you'd like to add, IB?
Have a wonderful night, guys. Stay safe, and thank you so much for joining us here at PPR.
And as always, folks, do stay classy, and good night. All right, we're good.
Yay!
That was fun.